Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'd be out of a job with peace. Do we know each other?
Time. Reality. It's changeable.
Where you want to be? That's the question, isn't it?
Every universe is different. Each one unique.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand. Not me, I get it.
Who are you?
The name's Captain Carter.
Scheiße!
I am the Watcher. I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere. I guess I have to freestyle then.
We have you outnumbered.
A Ravager never flies solo. I said never flies solo.
Is that some kind of catchphrase?
You had me worried for a second. Journey to face the unknown and ponder the question. What if?
Back everyone to another Marvel Studios trailer breakdown. So now we have this new series that's coming in August, I think right after Loki finishes, just in a few days. It's called What If you don't know. This series I did not make any videos on. Even though there were trailers that came in the past, I never made any videos on that, which I really should have, but I did. I actually did make one. I was about to upload it, I edited it, I did everything, but what's weird is that it did not upload because there's some issue with it. Every time I would scroll through, it would never like show up, but that's my fault. But anyway, hopefully I will get this video uploaded and no issues will be happening. So yeah. So anyway, if you don't know, let's start this trailer off. And yeah, by the way, What If doesn't really have much of an impact on the other part of the Marvel universe. It's inspired off these Marvel comics called What If, where it would just ask like these questions of what would happen if this happened. Other people on other YouTube channels have done that, but for like other stuff. So yeah, obviously I've done that a little bit, but not much though. Anyway, so this is like this first part in the trailer where they show you the clip is the same part as it's the same part as the opening of Iron Man. In Iron Man, they show Iron Man, literally this exact same clip is mostly just the same. He talks about peace and that by the way, he says that if there was he says that, yeah, I love peace. I would be out of a job if it wasn't for peace. He means that literally because first of all, he's part of the Avengers and the Avengers are supposed to fight off violence. So violence actually gives them money, which violence usually gives them money whenever like something bad happens, but peace actually makes them go broke. So yeah, I never really thought about that side. But he's also talking about before he even became an Avenger, because he used to be a weapons dealer. He's kind of a weapons dealer. He was a scientist and he built weapons, but he would give them to people, which is why his buddy James Rhodes, also known as War Machine, what he would do is he's part of the military, so he would use that and he would like give it to a bunch of other people because he has a big connection to the military. So yeah, but mostly this part is the same until there's the explosion. That's also the same. Everything for the most part is all the same. He runs out, he gets bombed. Everything is all the same until this bomb shows up. Now just watch. So as you see, Killmonger throws the bomb off, and that is Killmonger from the Black Panther movie. He throws the bomb and it explodes. In the actual Iron Man movie, it actually explodes. So what ends up happening is he actually gets metal inside his chest, and that's why he actually needs the arc reactor, because it keeps the metal away from his heart. That's why he actually needs to live off that. So if he loses the arc reactor, then he's at like a really close chance of dying instantly, because there's like pieces of metal that are inside his body, and they can get really close. The arc reactor just keeps them away from his heart. So yeah, and away from all like the very weak stuff in his body. So yeah, so Killmonger saves him, helps him up and get on his feet, and yeah, I think this Iron Man episode is probably like. Now the thing is this now. One reason is that. Now, by the way, in Iron Man, he gets kidnapped by the Ten Rings, which is the organization that the Mandarin runs in Shang-Chi. So he's obviously going to be, that's going to be some sort of impact, obviously. But yeah, that is going to be a very big impact. So obviously, now that we have Killmonger and Iron Man working together, there's a big question now of will he still become Iron Man? Maybe after Killmonger saves him, it gives him a little bit of a change of heart, and now he stops building bombs, because that was kind of one of the influences that kind of had him stop building bombs for Stark Industries. But yeah, but also, even for Marvel's future, since Stark Industries is kind of out of the picture now, which company is going to be like the bigger one of that? Because throughout the entire movies, it's always Stark Industries that have been number one, usually at the top of selling stuff and all that stuff. So yeah, so other companies might even take over. Even a country like Wakanda with Shuri's tech might even be better. So yeah, then the Marvel Studios title thing shows up, which is pretty nice. But if you notice behind there's a bunch of planets and a space and a Watcher. If you don't know what Watchers are these beings who watch over literally anything that happens in the universe, and they don't care. In fact, Stan Lee actually had a cameo with one of them in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when Rocket, Groot, and Yondu are flying through space. So yeah. So Doctor Strange walks in with this weird figure. I don't know who he looks like, but he looks very similar to this figure right here who's opening the doors with the same staff. It's probably in that same scene, actually. But yeah. So anyway. So the thing's open. Doctor Strange uses magic. I do not know much about the Doctor Strange episode, and it gets more confusing later on in the trailer. So I don't know much about it, but yeah. So there is this part of the. So there's this part where he falls off, which is probably similar to the actual Doctor Strange movie. So yeah. Now what they're doing is Marvel Studios is making like an episode for every single Marvel movie that's come out. So the first scene that we saw was probably in the Iron Man episode. And there's also one that's also going to be for the Captain America episode. But yeah, which will be the first episode of the actual series. So yeah, then we see the actual lineup of the Avengers in the Avengers movie, obviously. But the weird thing now is that it glitches, and there's lots of details. It glitches, and you see this version of like the Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe. Now, here's the thing now. In the middle, you see Gamora, who has her own version of Thanos' double-bladed sword from Endgame. You also see T'Challa, who is using Star-Lord's guns, and there's also a version of Black Panther in the back. And then once it camera pans more, it looks like there's also another version of Thor. But yeah, but that's only the first 4, so there's probably a lot more where that came from. So for the most part, the person who seems more closest to the actual one is probably Gamora, because the only difference with her is that she has more armor, and she actually has Thanos' double-bladed sword, which I don't know how she would have gotten that, but she probably stole it, or it might be indicating that Thanos is no longer existing in this timeline, so he might be dead. So yeah, then we see a version of T'Challa flying through this. Yes, I did see the other trailers. I never actually made videos on them though, so I already know that our version of Star-Lord is not going to be Peter Quill. It's going to be T'Challa now. So yeah, because so if you don't know, in the first Guardians movie, Peter Quill takes the Power Stone, and T'Challa's doing the same thing pretty much. So he takes it and he opens up, and if you can't already tell, that is his face. Oh, by the way, this is also going to be Chadwick Boseman's last performance as T'Challa, because as you know, the actor did die in August 2021, or 2020. But yeah, so this is his last performance. So we all have to enjoy it. But yeah, so then someone's eyes turn green. I honestly don't know whose eyes these are. I would honestly assume these are Bruce Banner's, maybe, because his eyes are the only ones that turns green, especially when he turns into Hulk. and it looks like Natasha Romanoff is looking at Hulk turning into his bigger form. So yeah, it looks like that, and I feel like there will be some issues with Hulk and stuff, but yeah, I don't know what these kind of robots are, but yeah, but it looks like Thor flips one, and then now here's the thing, Loki. This part is different. We know Loki episode 6 is gonna be coming in like just a few days, so just be more patient, and now it'll be coming. But yeah, but anyway, not about the Loki show, but Loki the character in this show, What If, is what he's doing is he is attacking Shield here. Now it looks like there's gonna be a giant battle between Shield and Loki, who is now becoming the king of Asgard. So that's gonna be different now. It's possible that because Thor joined the Guardians in that one shot where there's like a Gamora, T'Challa, and a version of Black Panther and a version of Thor, it's possible that because of that, Loki is able to take and become the king of Asgard. Probably because Thor abandoned his home, so Loki's able to step up, and now people believe in him. People believe that he should be king and no longer Thor. So yeah. So yeah, Vision. Then we get another Vision. Now, it's also really sad is that Vision dies for like the 4th time. It's actually really annoying. He dies for like the 4th time in this series again. But yeah. Then we see another version of Howard the Duck. Not much about him, but yeah. Then I already saw this. As I said, I already watched the other trailers. I just never made videos on them, which I should have, but my bad. So Peggy Carter is a version now of Captain America, where she has the Union Jack all over her. All over the shield, but yeah. But she also has the same colors of America, so yeah. And basically, Steve Rogers in this timeline, since he's still skinny and doesn't get the serum, he just becomes a new version of Iron Man, who was basically given suits by Howard Stark. So yeah. Then Killmonger does a very dope front flip, and he lands and he shoots some robots. And they are robots because the staff that he's using is like a Wakandan staff. That like the ones that like kind of like similar to the ones that like Io used in Falcon and the Winter Soldier when she was after Zemo. But yeah, but it looks like these ones are used to kill robots and stuff, because it looks like Wakanda's being invaded by some sort of robot army. But yeah, because you see another Wakandan soldier. Then there's Thor, but yeah, and yeah, not much about this part, but yeah. But it looks like in the background, though, he's in, like, maybe Asgard. But it also looks like his hair changed, so something. This is probably in the Thor movie, in the Thor version of What If. This version of Doctor Strange. Now, what's weird is that this is a dark version of Doctor Strange, not, like, the normal one that we see. This is, like, a darker version, and we see a better one of him later. And there's also a woman standing, like, right beside him on the ground right there, but okay. Anyway, and just hitting a bunch of soldiers with her shield. Now, this is the first shot of dark Doctor Strange. So, yeah, I don't know when he would show up, but maybe if Peggy Carter doesn't get frozen, and since she does have the serum, she goes on and on and on forever. Then if she lives, like, for a long, long time, she's probably going to meet Doctor Strange or some dark entity or version. So, anyway, so now Peggy Carter takes out more soldiers, and what she does is she also takes out a tank by rubbing the shield against like the side of a tank, which is pretty boss move, but it's kind of weird that Steve never really did it. But yeah. So anyway. So then Arnim Zola, the first character we see in this series. Arnim Zola is probably the first character in the series who is now going to be World War II, but also it's also his first appearance of him not as a robot and after Captain America: The First Avenger. So yeah, because in Winter Soldier he did show up, but he was a robot. But yeah, so it says enter the multiverse because now we're gonna get the multiverse now. Now what's weird is that I think this is the quantum realm because, and it looks like and this looks like Janet Van Dyne from Ant-Man and the Wasp. If you remember, in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Hank Pym was building this giant, this giant tunnel that he was gonna use to take this machine and go save Janet from the quantum realm. But it looks like she turned into some sort of zombie, or maybe in the quantum realm there's a virus, because there is gonna be an episode where all the Avengers are gonna turn into zombies. So maybe this virus or disease or starts in here, or parasite, whatever, it starts in the quantum realm and then it spreads with Janet. And when Janet comes out of the quantum realm, it's gonna spread to everybody else, especially characters like Ant-Man, Hope and Hank and everybody pretty much, even Luis. And yeah, so then there's a Watcher showing up. What's weird is that Watchers don't really interfere with anything. So this obviously has means something to be important. It looks like he is in a city where probably a giant fight scene is probably going down. But yeah, then we see T'Challa, Yondu, and a bunch of other Ravagers walk out together. And now it looks like Spider-Man, Tom Holland, is back. Obviously, what he does is he jumps down, he shoots his webs. Now there's a later shot where I believe who he's throwing his webs at, and I will say that later though. But yeah, anyway, so of infinite possibilities, and I think this is Natasha Romanoff running away from Ultron's bots because there's a bunch of robots somewhere shooting. They're all shooting. This is an Age of Ultron. By the way, this is the zombies of Iron Man, Hulk, and in the background. And also in the background, you also see Ebony Maw from Infinity War. So that's actually going to be very weird. Maybe they might have some influence on it. If I'm wrong, then obviously Ebony Maw has something to do with it because he's literally lying in the background of Tony Stark. So obviously that's going to be something important. So anyway. So Hawkeye shoots his arrow, and then Thor comes up. I think the possibility here is that Hawkeye might actually shoot the arrow at Thor, because in the Thor movie, he didn't actually shoot the arrow at Thor. But if he did, then he might have actually killed Thor, which might have allowed Loki to become King of Asgard. So yeah, an explosion comes in, and basically Shuri does the FBI open up meme on that. But yeah, so she does that, but this is also a kid. This is Shuri, though, as a child. So that's obviously going to be a little bit different, but she also has the Dora by her side. But there's also someone else in the background who is also doing that. It looks like, besides the Dora Milaje, there's also this woman right here who seems to be, maybe like, I don't know, but she's obviously like working with the Wakandans, so obviously. Then we see a version of Ego, and that's really weird because Ego is actually a Celestial, so he's actually similar to the Eternals. And that kind of makes him very powerful, obviously. Now, what he tried to do was he tried to basically like destroy the entire universe, but he kind of failed. He failed really bad. So yeah, he failed very badly because Peter Quill was able to defeat him. So yeah, and then I don't know who this is. I would assume this is Doctor Strange because this looks similar. I'm not assuming every character is Doctor Strange, by the way, but yeah. So then in this part, Peggy Carter uses the sword. I think this is probably the same sword that she had when she was doing the superhero pose landing, when she was doing the 360 over there earlier. But she might be using the sword to cut off the arm or tentacle of one of those of the creature. Yeah, and then we see the Ancient One for like the first time, and what she does here is she shoots that at a dark Doctor Strange, and then we see, I think this is Okoye, not Io, because if you don't know, all the Dora Milaje, they have the chain that they have on their necks. If Okoye is the leader, so hers is gold, but everybody else's is silver. So, and since hers is more gold than silver, I would assume this is Okoye. But yeah, so she throws the spear, and it looks like it hits Wanda because this is Scarlet Witch. And by the way, this is where I'm going back to what Peter Parker was talking about. So yeah. So you see, as you see, the spear coming to Scarlet Witch, you also see some webs or like some sort of rope that's coming. So obviously, Peter Parker's trying to do something, but it ain't gonna do nothing. So yeah, very weird. Then Drax pulls T'Challa in, and then Black Widow throws Red Guardian's shield because we just saw Red Guardian in the Black Widow movie. By the way, I will do a video on that. I have to do some other stuff though. Making these videos kind of takes a long time. I have to go through them, record them, edit it, and yeah, especially. So I will get that video out probably as quick as possible, but yeah. But it is going to be hard though, because after I have to work on the Loki episode 6 breakdown, and then yeah. So yeah, so if you don't know, this is Natasha Romanoff throwing Red Guardian's shield. Now what's weird is though, in the Black Widow movies, by the way, spoilers, if you did not see it, go watch it anyway. So if you don't know, Red Guardian's shield does not actually show up in Black Widow's movie. Every time Red Guardian throws a shield, it's actually Taskmaster's shield. But yeah, so that wasn't really a big spoiler, but you should have watched the movie so you would have known that. But yeah, anyway. So Then when she throws the shield, Killmonger, it looks like Killmonger was in some sort of prison in that one scene where in the background everything's red. Maybe he was even arrested by the TVA, because if in Loki episode 5, Hunter B-15 was imprisoned in that cell, and it was surrounded by red. So maybe he got imprisoned by the TVA, but most likely he would have been pruned. But yeah. So anyway, now this is probably the good part. Killmonger uses his Wakandan spear and he goes on top of Rhino and starts charging. Then there are these all these other versions of evil Iron Man bots, which is probably what all those robots were doing, and they were invading Wakanda. They were probably causing issues. Black Widow was probably running from them, but yeah. Then we also see Loki probably in the fight scene against Nick Fury. By the way, in the background you can actually see the Destroyer, which is a machine that Loki tried to use to kill Thor in the first Thor movie, and that thing's very powerful. It's like insanely powerful, and it actually did almost kill Thor because Thor did not have his lightning powers. But yeah, he uses this. I know what this artifact is called. They use it in Asgard. This is an artifact that Odin stole from the Frost Giants, and Loki is technically a Frost Giant. So he took care of Loki, but at the same time he also stole the thing that was used by his people. This thing is used to freeze people, which, for example, it's actually weird that in all the other Thor movies, they never actually use this artifact, because this artifact is actually insanely overpowered, but nobody ever uses it. Like, for example, if they use this in Ragnarok, then Hela would not be such an issue. If they use it in the Dark World, it wouldn't be such an issue. But obviously, I see, because then the movie would be over in a few minutes, which is not fun. But yeah. So then this is probably what's weird is that there is one scene where Killmonger is leading the Wakandans, but now there's this scene where it looks like the Queen of Wakanda. This is T'Challa's mother, who is leading the Dora Milaje into battle against someone. And now this is probably the most annoying part. Vision has died 1, 2, 3. And now he's gonna die for a fourth time for the fourth time. This literally the second time in a year where he dies again, literally. But anyway, so yeah, Vision's trying to pull out the Mind Stone, so that means he's probably gonna die again, which isn't gonna go well. And this is probably the inside of some creature. That shot of someone, I don't know who that was. But what's weird though in this scene, this is actually supposed to be Scott Lang though without a head. Very weird, but whatever. I have no idea what to say on that, but okay. Then Thor throws his hammer and it goes, a giant explosion happens, and then there's this scene with T'Challa and where it looks like he's kidnapping someone, but okay. And basically what he does is he has Yondu come in and shoot whistle his arrow at everybody. That's what he does to everyone, basically. Yeah, pretty much, yeah, he just has Yondu do it. Now, one thing that's very weird is that nobody ever reacts to whenever Yondu does it. Nobody ever tries to run. They never actually try to grab the arrow. They don't try to do anything with it. They literally just stand still and let it just, pierce through their bodies. But by the way, that thing is actually very overpowered if you don't know, so it's kind of understandable. That should be in a video made by someone where they actually talk about one of the most overpowered weapons, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Casket of the Ancient Winters, which is the artifact that Loki was using. I finally remember the name, and Yondu's arrow. So yeah. And looks like Yondu and T'Challa are fighting. Now, it seems like T'Challa and Yondu are going to have a much better relationship than Peter Quill and Yondu had. Because Peter Quill had kind of a thing against Yondu, especially since he would kind of go off on his own and, do his own thing. And then when he would only, ask him for help and stuff. And he even got captured by them once. So, yeah. So, that's obviously true. But it looks like T'Challa and... it obviously looks like, though, that T'Challa and Yondu are going to have a much better relationship, so that should be better. But yeah, so yeah, and by the way, when we also look through these pieces of glass, you see in the background a young version of T'Challa. You see Iron Man working on his suit. You see T'Chaka. You also see a Black Panther who has a golden chain, which is the same armored suit that he would use. You see Peggy Carter using the shield, and you see a bunch of other things. So then it builds up. You even see a picture of Bucky, a picture of Vision, and more. Honestly, you can just expand it. So yeah. Hulk, Natasha, literally everyone. And it goes to What If. And yeah, it's actually going to be streaming on August 11th. So the series is actually coming a lot quicker than we thought. Because basically, yeah. So basically, yeah, they have What If. And then after What If, Shang-Chi will come out. I keep pronouncing it wrong. By the way, we'll start pronouncing it Shang-Chi from now on. But yeah. So after that, Shang-Chi will come out. And then after Shang-Chi, it will be Eternals. And then after Eternals, you will have something in December. There'll be like some movie, I think, coming in December. Or some show. Maybe like, I don't know. Anyway, so that's all for today. This series is going to be probably amazing, obviously. Especially, it'll probably be the first Marvel animated series. So yeah, that's also going to be like canon, kind of. So yeah. Anyway, here's a video that I made on Loki episode 5. And here is me trying to recreate all the stunts from Shang-Chi, from the Shang-Chi trailer. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you in the next video.